TNT Open Mind Insights brings you powerful, authentic conversations, illuminating the path to better mental health care for all.
Thank you so much for joining us. Tina, you're doing some really incredible work working with youths that are suffering, great challenges in our community. I'm a mother. I have a 5-year-old and an 11-year-old, and it just absolutely tears me apart when I think of youth and children suffering with some just great travesties, this trauma that they go through, and I think of my own kids and just can't imagine, what kids are going through, so, um, my hope today is that we can really share some of the wisdom that you've gained over the years working in these, topics, especially with pediatricians. A lot of our audience is in the medical profession, so thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I'm excited to be able to share and help strengthen the quality of care that our young people will receive as a result.
Absolutely. So, first, I want to get to know you a little bit more just as an individual
Mhm.
and why you have chosen to use so much of your time and so much of your career working with young people and their challenges.
I think we all come to if you're a therapist, and I am a therapist, we come to this work because there's some things in our own life that we either need to process or did process, and it brought us to a place where we feel really connected with others. And for me, my mom was 16 when she had me. And so I was, the product of a teen mom. And my dad went off to Vietnam, so he wasn't able to be present in our lives. And so being raised by a single mother who was very young, it was formative for me. I had a younger sister, and I had a very caregiving role for her. So I grew up as a natural nurturer, but I also was really drawn to, and I thought my career would mostly be with teen moms because that was just something that was so important in my life. And the more I worked with just young people in general, the more I realized I was in the right place. I was in the place to help. Um, Over the course of my career, I've really expanded to realize that if we don't help their parents, we're not helping any children. So
Mm.
now raising up other professionals to really embrace the whole family and realize that a healthy, emotionally healthy, and physically healthy family is what every child needs to thrive. That's what I'm here to do now.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So, yeah, teen moms, I know that they face some of the biggest hurdles, challenges, and discriminations
Mm,
out there.
mhm, yeah, and
Yeah.
and and that their children, just statistically, any statistics you look at, their children are going to have a harder time in life because of being, simply being parented by a teen parent, and, very often that comes with, a single parent as well. So,
Hmm.
they're, got a couple of, hurdles already in front of them. They haven't even started life yet. So I think, empowering young mothers and, really wrapping around them a community of support so they don't have to do this alone, and that community of support has to be non-judgmental. They already have navigated so much shame around their situation, and we as helping professionals have to come alongside and be their cheerleaders and not their critics.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So when did you decide to take the step into the work that you do now?
Um, I actually did my undergrad work, and then I went and had 4 children. So
Wow.
I have 4 children. And when my youngest was, I think she was about 4, I said, I'm ready to go back and do more. So I had spent some time parenting them, and really was very lucky to be able to be home with them in those formative years and understand what a difference that made in their lives, having a present parent. Um, so going back to school, entering the second part of my career, and I started working with county mental health, and then I realized there was a lot of bureaucracy in that, and I needed to be in a space that was really more responsive to our community. And so I've worked with community-based organizations for the last 20 years because we really can have a finger on the pulse of our community and pivot quickly to meet their needs.
Wonderful. Tell me about the work that you're doing with Olive Crest.
We were founded over 50 years ago with really, our founders just saw the need that they were both educators and there were young people that didn't have safe homes. So they thought
Mhm.
that they would start by opening up what were then called group homes and providing safety for young people. And as we got deeper in working with the young people, we realized they needed either a path to return home and a family that was strengthened and able to care for them, or they needed a path to independence. And so the continuum of services we provide at Olive Crest has continued to expand over the years. We do a lot of strengthening of families. We provide parent education.
Mm.
We provide what we call wraparound services to send a team to the family and help them really reach their goals. The whole program is intended to hear their voice and their vision for their family and for us to support them on that journey and really allow their children to stay with them rather than be removed. But when children do need to be removed for their own safety, we provide foster care, transitional housing for young people, and we really can stay with them up till their 24th birthday to help
Oh,
launch them into independence. And all of that's really important for me because these are people in our community. These young people will work at Target and we'll see them every day and they'll work at our restaurants and hopefully have careers. And if we want our community to be strong, we have to be strengthening the children and families who are our neighbors. And
yeah.
Olive Crest has a wide continuum of services to do that.
Wow,
Yeah.
amazing. And you're the programs director.
I'm the programs director. I oversee everything from uh, parent education, visitation, mental health clinic. We do counseling for the parents and for the children. We do parenting specialized, like co parenting, and just really resolving some of those things that a lot of our families are facing if they can't be. Um, Raising their children together, we help them learn to co parent. We provide the wraparound services, residential treatment for young people if they have severe mental health issues that prohibit them from living with their families. And then housing for young people ages 16 to 18, 18 to 21, and 21 to 24.
Oh my goodness,
Yeah.
y'all do so
Yeah.
much. Oh
So
my
I
goodness.
oversee all of that and really we also provide a lot of services now for victims of exploitation. So,
Mhm.
young people that are experiencing labor trafficking or sex trafficking, we are helping them find a path back to healing and safety. And so,
Mhm.
that's another large component of the work I oversee.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I noticed you use the terminology young people.
Yes,
Yeah, is it that sounds intentional.
it
Can
is
you
very
share that a little
intentional.
bit?
Yes. Youth, I don't think many youth call themselves youth. They don't
Mhm.
say, Hi, I'm a youth. Um, and we've kind of gotten into this space where kid feels maybe a bit demeaning. Are
Mhm.
you a baby goat? Because a kid is a baby goat. Um, Kid is pretty common. People do use that, but it's not as respectful of the young person as we really intend to be. And language is powerful,
It does, yeah.
so we intentionally try and refer to our clients or the people that are seeking services from us as young people because they are young people
Yeah.
and they are people. So just
Yeah.
a little bit, less time on the planet. Um, but overall, I think there's many instances where the language we choose is so impactful on the way we're motivated to care.
Mhm.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm,
And it seems like young people don't have as many choices just yet.
mhm,
So to empower them with, okay, I'm a person just
yeah,
like anyone else. I mean, I think about myself when I was really young, I
mhm,
didn't feel even like a person,
yeah,
really,
yeah,
just a kid.
yeah.
So that's very, very interesting.
Mhm.
So, what are some of the challenges that you see the young people facing that you come into contact with or you serve on a regular basis?
I think they love their families and life is hard. Orange County, which is where we're located, it's hard to make a living here. It's hard to keep a roof over your head and get all your needs met. So we see parents who are really struggling just to provide the basic necessities for their family. It sometimes requires working multiple jobs. And then the children are left alone. Um, the parent believes they're showing love by how hard they work, and
Yeah.
the children feel like I'm abandoned and no one loves me because my parents are always at work. And so there's that mismatch of understanding and intention. And I think another thing we're seeing in this generation is the world seems so glamorous, and
Mm.
our children aren't experiencing that. They're
Mhm.
experiencing hardship. And so that
Mm.
parents feel like they can't give their kids everything they want. Kids feel like we're not getting what we need. And so this mismatch of what media and social media tells a young person that they're supposed to have and the
Yeah.
reality of what life feels like for them, it leads to a big disconnect between the parents and the children. And then we add other factors like substance use and mental health issues. And a lot of times the parents and the children just aren't speaking the same language. Their priorities aren't the same.
Mhm.
The parents don't understand what's important to children. That's why one of our preventative strategies is the parent education. We really want parents to be empowered to understand what their children are going through and what tools they have that they might not have had modeled for them by their own parents.
Mhm.
So many of the parents who go through our parenting education, so I never knew I was supposed to hug my child every day and tell them
Oh,
that they're
okay.
amazing. No one has ever done that for me.
Yeah,
So how would
yeah.
I have
Why
known?
would you know?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
so those kinds of things, the challenges our children are facing is resisting being involved in a gang, resisting committing crimes to meet their needs,
Oh.
um, managing, serious thoughts of depression when the world just seems like it isn't going your way. You're not as rich, successful, pretty, you name it, as everybody else on social media. So why continue to live? And our young people face suicidal ideation more than we ever have in the past.
Yeah,
Uh,
and younger
and
too.
younger. I think the positive is that it's now more acceptable to talk about it.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
we're
for
aware,
sure. Uh-huh.
but now we're aware of how serious the issue is.
Yeah,
Mhm,
yeah.
mhm.
So, what can medical providers do to be better supports for young people from your perspective?
I think it's really important for, and I know this is contrary to the business model, but they need to slow down.
That
And
is contrary to the model.
right,
Yeah.
no, 15 minutes in and out, and young people are slow to trust. They already
Hmm.
come into a space where they're seeing a professional, so there's level of fear, and they're carrying with them all of the perceived secrets. I can't tell you about this.
Yeah.
My family wouldn't want you to know about this. If I say anything, someone will get in trouble. So they walk in holding all of those family secrets if there are things going on in their life. And 15 minutes isn't going to be enough to be safe and comfortable with someone and to share anything. And so I think slowing down whenever possible, letting the youth lead the time, um, giving them, empowering them, like we were saying, to use that time, that space to share what they're ready to share and get the help that they're needing.
Hmm.
I think that professionals, pediatricians, need to really operate from a place of asking permission, front
Hmm.
loading the young person with what's going to happen,
Hmm.
why is it going to happen, allowing the young person to ask questions and really understand the process, and that they have a choice, and that things can take their time, and they can come back another day if today's not the right day. All of those kinds of strategies help youth feel safer in a medical space.
Wow.
Right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Mhm.
And then how does your organization address mental health within the people that you're working with?
Most of the programs that we operate come with a therapist attached to it.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
they are, and we really, with young people, are we try and destigmatize the participation in mental health services by saying everybody wants to be better at something. Everybody wants to be, you know, maybe a better communicator or more confident, or have be able to reach their dreams. So you aren't receiving mental health services because you're broken. You're receiving mental health services because you want to excel.
Mhm.
And so we really try and empower them and have them be excited. um, One of our programs, we start by a planning meeting with the whole team. And when youth first come, we start by asking them, what are you good at? And what do you want to be better at? And it's
Mhm.
such a different stance than saying, what's wrong with you and what do we need to fix?
Mhm.
So we really try
Yeah.
and operate from that strength-based perspective. You're already amazing. Let's just help you be even more amazing.
Yeah.
And within a couple of months of participating, the youth are able to walk in and say, "Guess what? I'm amazing." And
Mhm.
that in itself is healing. I think the other part that's really important is we have a trauma informed workforce. So they're able to really live that out and say, whatever's going on, it's about what's happened to this person, not who they are or who I am. It's this journey that they're on, and we don't take it personal, and we don't judge. We just walk alongside and um, help them get where they want to go.
Now, how did they, when you say you have a trauma-informed workforce, you're
Mhm.
talking about the people that work with Olive Crest, have
Every
that?
single one of them, yes.
Okay, and then how did they gain those skills?
Really, training is one, but it's also constant supervision. So every week, every role, meeting with a supervisor and reviewing what's going on with the people we're working with, and what it meaning did it have, and how is it affecting us? Because when you work with people, you're affected by them. And so really, being front and center with that, acknowledging that it's happening, and acknowledging both the what we call vicarious trauma, that being exposed to the hardships of other people will weigh heavy on us. We really try and kind of look at the other side of that coin, which is vicarious resilience. And our
Oh,
youth and their families are amazing, that they've
wow.
gone through everything they've gone through and they're still
Yeah.
here is amazing. And we get to witness that resilience,
Mhm.
which can fill us up and
Yeah.
help us come to work another day.
That's really interesting. I hadn't heard that before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd heard of course, self-care in order to, when you're in the helping professions,
Hmm.
but you're taking it a step further by making it strength-based
Yeah.
so that you're focusing in on like
Yeah.
how powerful, or maybe powerful is not the word, but how incredible. Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah. Yep. So all of our staff, from whether they're peer staff, so someone who's had lived experience themselves and is supporting others with similar experience, all the way through our therapists and our prescribers, really are expected to honor the voice of the participant, whether it's the child or their parent, and see the positives in them, and understand that we're just part of their journey. um, and it's work because we're humans and it gets tiring, but I think when you build a culture that views families that way, it's self-sustaining because it starts to feel really good.
Yeah,
Yeah.
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 So you're doing the good work and then it's coming back,
Hmm.
filling your own cup. How do you fill your own cup? Like, what do you do?
I think it's hard to separate work from life, when this is your career.
Maybe you don't need to.
Yeah, I love my job, and I'm really in a space now where when I can see other young professionals coming up, and um, the light bulb going off for them and them making that switch, when I can hear them say, well, this is what happened, but I understand why, and this is how we're going to help, so that they understand the whole, um, not just the surface behavior, but the underlying why behind behaviors. When I see them get it and I know, okay, they can carry on this torch, I'm excited.
Yeah.
And when I meet with professionals in the world, and met with a district attorney at one time, and just to shift someone's perspective a little bit from a place of blame or shame to a place of empowerment and appreciation. Those are the things that I'm like, okay, I did a good thing today, and so I
Yeah.
feel I feel like I'm in the right spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular favorite success stories that could be Olive Crest or before, but just
No,
career wise, the ones that really fuel you?
I think that now at this point in my career, I'm really excited about systems change, And so when I'm partnering with the systems of care that impact children and families, the social services, and juvenile justice, and the mental health systems, and I can have a other professionals come alongside and shift their perspective. We have some programming where um, youth that, according to some people, are on a really bad trajectory. They're running from care a lot. They are maybe using drugs. They are not going to school, and we've taken them and said, we believe you are amazing, and we're going to give you every opportunity that we would give an A student, even though
Mhm.
you actually haven't been to school in years. I have a young person who hasn't been to school in probably like 3 years, and I think she came to me at 16 and she hadn't been in school in about 3 years. And I never said, "Oh, well, you're 3 years behind, you're never gonna make
Yeah.
it, don't even bother to graduate." We just said, "You're amazing, and you can do anything you wanna do, and we're gonna give you every chance that an A student would get."
Mhm.
And the systems were really uncomfortable with that. They wanted to know what were the consequences for the bad behaviors, and, what kind of restraining systems would we have around the young people, and I said, if we treat them like they're a problem, they're going to continue to be a problem. So we're going to treat them like they're successes and see if they'll succeed. And that has led to systems change. That has
Wow.
led to people being more comfortable with what we consider a harm reduction approach. Like, let's just start by keeping our young people alive and then worry about whether or not they graduate from high school. Let's put that down the
Yeah.
road. Let's keep them alive. Give them a reason to live and be joyful. And we'll worry about all of those grown up priorities later.
Wow.
And that's leading to change in our system. So
That's amazing. That
yeah,
really is amazing.
yeah,
And I feel like that nugget of wisdom that, like, just focusing on the good, and also people tend, especially young people, tend to live up to what you say about them.
yeah.
Yeah, because they're more, do you think it's because they're more impressionable? Or would you see, how does that function?
I think that, what other blueprint do they have?
Yeah.
They are forming all of these
Yeah.
ideas, and they want to know, well, am I going to turn out just like my mom, or am I going to turn out just like my dad? Or will I turn out like a police officer because I've had so much law enforcement contact? Who will I turn out like? And if we tell them this is who you are and what you're going to be, they'll, well, I guess the adults in my life are telling me, and I don't know what blueprint do I have. So I think that we have to put as many options and opportunities in front of them and believe in them, that it will happen for them. If we don't believe in them, how can we expect them to believe in
Oh my
themselves?
gosh, yeah. And then how can you make, how can you face great challenges if you don't believe you're capable?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you have to have, when you're a minor, when you're under the age of 18, you're so powerless in this world anyway. So you need people in your corner who have that power that you don't have and are lending it to you. And I think they do tend to thrive. But it's the other thing I would say to any of the helping professionals, and pediatricians included, is we need to be patient.
Mhm.
Um, a lot of people bring, the children come to us and they're like, it's been 3 months. Why are they still using substance, or still running away, or still isolating, or not going to school? And we say it takes time. The trauma took time to happen. They've had maybe 12, 13 years of adverse experiences. We're not going to heal all that in 3 months. It,
Mhm.
it takes sometimes a year or two before we see the ultimate outcomes, but being patient and consistent. Young people want to come back and see that you're still there and you're still genuine over and over again. And I think that having a really stable workforce has been something
Mm.
we've cultivated at Olive Crest, and that really helps too.
Yeah, that makes sense. It I guess I had always thought of children or young people being more trusting, but maybe that's because my own
Mm.
kids have not had that trauma.
Yeah.
But I also see what you mean when the kids go to the doctor's office and they kind of like,
Hmm.
they kind of hide, like they
Hmm.
don't want to look in the eye.
Hmm.
They don't know where they're at. They don't know who the person is, and then you compound that with the trauma. Um, 15 minutes isn't gonna do it.
Yeah. And there actually are, and I think what I would hope all of the new doctors aspire to you can get really good at winning a child's trust in 15 minutes
Okay.
if you're intentional, if
Yeah.
you,
Tell us how
yeah.
to do it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I think the approach, being at eye level, making contact, showing interest in what they are, letting them lead, all of these things, because children, what they are is quick to make a decision. Either you're safe or you're unsafe. I
Mm.
can trust you or I can't trust you. And so someone who comes in and really makes gestures of um, truly valuing the child's going to pick up on that and say, okay, this person's okay. And so I think that you know I remember working with someone who lectured on emotional intelligence, and he said before he went into any room, he did kind of uh, like a little self-taught game plan, and then he
Oh,
went into this space ready to see the next
yeah.
person. And I
Huh.
think that our professionals, they take the chart off the door and they look at that, but maybe that's a time to say, I'm going to see a child right now. How can I connect with this young person quickly so that I have their trust and they feel safe with me while we're there?
Mhm.
And it's not just the pediatrician, it's the medical assistants and the nurses.
Yeah.
Everyone in the space is creating a culture of safety for children, and they're going to sense that and be more likely to share what they need to share.
I just find it so interesting that, you are seeing some really great trauma
Yeah,
come through your doors,
yeah.
but yet you're focused on the positive. You're focused on what they can achieve, and you're understanding that it takes time and continuing to show up and giving people, that hope and that strength. Like we haven't been discussing the the super trauma
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
I'm sure you do address that piece,
Mhm.
but it seems like you're addressing it through this really positive lens.
Yeah.
And that's something that can be transferred into the doctor's office too,
Mhm.
and even into policy and
Mhm.
leadership around mental health.
Mhm. Yeah. I think and it's one of those things that goes a long way to creating relationship.
Mhm.
Whenever someone shows up into a space with helping professionals, they're expecting, I'm going to have to tell my story.
Yes,
They're going to want to know my trauma.
it's re-traumatize.
I'm going to have to relive all that. I've got it on paper already. I don't need you to tell me again.
Yeah.
And it doesn't define who you are. It's what you've been through, but it's not who you are. So tell me who you want to be, and let's get there. And that in itself it's disarming. They don't trust it for a while. Like, really, you're not asking about all that? I'm like, no, we're good. Tell me what you want to tell me, and it goes a long way to building relationship with them. And eventually, they will tell you everything that they need to tell you, but it
Mhm.
has to be on their own time. And we go too fast. We
Yeah.
push too hard. We need to get to the solution, and that's our own need. And
Hmm.
we remember this is not about us. This is their journey, and we're just companions.
That is really wise. Actually, because you're right.
Mhm.
We do as adults, even as a parent,
Mhm.
whatever, like, I want the solution, I want it now, but what
Yeah,
does the child want?
yeah,
They just wanna connect.
yeah,
They just want, or what does that young person want?
yeah.
They just want that space
Mhm.
to grow and connect and share things at their own pace.
Yep.
But as professionals, like, there's gotta be a way to connect what we know with each other so
Mhm.
that we could, that's the definition then of the wraparound support,
Yep.
correct?
Yep. That
Yeah.
that uh, that everybody is being heard, and everybody brings something of value to the table. Um, and we don't all have the answer. No one person has all the answers. So um, and the family's voice matters and the child's voice matters, and we can't take them anywhere they're not able or willing to go. So let's let's slow down and listen to them.
Slow down. Yes,
Yeah,
wonderful.
yeah.
Is there anything else you wanted to share with us?
I
Haven't
think
covered?
the only other thing, just from my experience working with victims of exploitation, is it's really the same, that they need medical providers they can trust, and they're much more likely to trust people who don't treat them like the sum of their exploitation. That's not all that you are, is a victim of the exploitation. You're a young person with potential, and that we slow down and we're careful. We ask permission before we touch people. We explain what we're doing. All of that is really critical in working with victims who've experienced exploitation, um, because other people have been in charge of their body. And
Mm.
so we can't have our medical profession treating them that same way. They need to be in charge of their own body when they're in those spaces. And I think that's just another specialized population that we serve and where we see that as really important.
Yeah. Do you hear stories then of going to the doctor's office and not getting consent?
Completely being re-traumatized
Oh,
by
no.
everything that has happened, and um, in a rush to get maybe evidence for prosecution or some of those things, but they may not even be in a space where they can entertain the thought of prosecution. They just need their basic needs met,
Yeah.
and so again, it's not our agenda, it's their agenda, and that's another really systems place that
Yeah.
I advocate for is to put the systems agenda on the back burner and make sure we're prioritizing the children and the family's agenda.
Yeah, maybe they would rather be doing something else
Yeah.
at that point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but they'll
okay.
get there if we're
Yeah.
patient. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm,
okay, well,
mhm.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing all of that.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure getting to know your story and the work that you do. Is there, if there's people that want to connect with you or your organization, where would they find more information?
Well, Olive Crest is a nonprofit organization founded here in Orange County, but we have offices in LA, Riverside, San Diego, Santa Barbara, Nevada, and the Pacific Northwest. So just Google Olive Crest and ask for Tina, and they'll find me.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
This is great. Yeah.